Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the NCAA 2004 Alabama Crimson Tide Dynasty mode in NCAA04. And we are coming back after sustaining one of the most heart-shattering losses in this entire series. I've said that a few times, but this one really feels like it as we dropped the SEC championship to a 7-5 Vanderbilt, a team that we have not lost to up to this point after playing them twice in that game. But hey, you give them three chances, they might eventually find a way to beat you. And find a way they did, as Vanderbilt completely stood on their head and grabbed the SEC title out from under our nose and subsequently ruined our season, as now we are settling for a Capital One Bowl appearance against the 8-4 Indiana Hoosiers. So one of the great things about the real-life Nick Saban is that he always found a way to win the games that they had to win and managed to lose games that they could afford to lose. And that is not something that Sicknaven in this series has been able to kind of figure out on his own. We just seem to keep losing at the worst moments, the most inopportune moments in the season. Like, of course, losing to TCU, last year, and now losing the SEC championship. So it's been a rough one. it's been a tough few seasons, as now we are running out of time to catch up to Nick Saban's 6 titles here. We still only have 4, and we are still looking for number 5 and number 6. And it's getting to the point here as we wind down to the final few seasons of this series where we're gonna have to start winning them consecutively, which is a tall order here. But we will see. We'll see what we'll be capable of doing here as we take on the Hoosiers here in the Capital One Bowl. There's still a little bit of continuity on this team from when we played them last season or the season before. It's hard to remember. It feels so long ago. But they do have some different pieces. They have a different starting quarterback, even though the quarterback that we played, Scooter Westbrook, is still on the roster. I just think the upperclassman who's behind him, Edwin Coleman, had like a good season of training or a good offseason and finally was, better than Westbrook was. So that's who the Hoosiers went with. But we understand the quarterback turmoil that Indiana has gone through. It's exactly what we have gone through. But an 8-4 season maybe is exactly where Indiana wants to be. Who knows? But we know for us, we want national championships, so we got to see if one of these 3 brilliant guys on the roster can figure that out for us, even after the season's probably going to drop down to 2 with Dre Gates leaving and flying the coop here, flying the nest. But it is a gray and mucky day here in Orlando for this Capital One Bowl, and already it's causing problems for Indiana's receivers as Michael Rivero fumbles that football, and our defense is able to fall on top of it. But already it's 3rd and 10 in our own end here, having trouble to move the ball at all. And a nice effort from Dillard, the tight end, Jeff Dillard. But it's still going to be squandered as we go 3 and out following the turnover, and we're going to have to hand this one back to the Hoosiers, who get pretty solid field position here on 3rd and 4. Coleman drops back to pass on the play action, and he finds an open receiver, and that's going to be a first down for the Hoosiers. And now they will continue their tempo on offense, as they've moved pretty well on offense up to this point, but neither team able to really find the scoreboard in that first quarter. So in the second quarter now on 3rd and 7, pressure is on to Coleman, evades it and gets rid of it in time, dumps it off quickly here. He likes getting that one off to his tight end, Chuck Monroe. He's been hitting him on those first down plays. So we've got to be careful of the tight end here in this situation. So 1st and 10 for the Hoosiers. Once again, Coleman under some pressures. The pocket's collapsing, and a wide open target in the end zone makes the catch for the touchdown here, as it's Ryan Meeks, one of the top receivers for Indiana, who evades. He just finds the hole in the zone here, just kind of sits there and waits for the ball to find him, and it does. So Indiana's going to take a lead here in the second quarter, and now we have to strike back, but our offense is struggling here in the first half. So Indiana back on offense on a 3rd and 15. Coleman gets rid of it in time to the running back. It looked like a bit of a screen maybe, but I don't know if it just got blown wide open. Not entirely sure. And Edmund Coleman's having a great start to the game. You can see at the bottom line how both of our quarterbacks are doing right there. And Coleman's having himself a decent game, but it just isn't netting in points right now. And on a 4th and 7, after that long 3rd down, could not convert. On the 4th and 7, Indiana keeps the offense on the field, and they're not going anywhere. So a turnover on downs for the Alabama Crimson Tide, and now our offense is heading the other way as Lumpkin back to pass. Pocket is collapsing, and not any clear sight lines, and that's going to be an interception for Lumpkin. And it's just going to be his 7th on the season to 18 touchdowns. So it's still a lot of interceptions for Cal Lumpkin himself here, but I believe between Slaughter and Gates, it's probably half what they would have if they started a full season. So I could easily see both those two quarterbacks having double-digit interceptions heading into this game. So I'm still fine with Cal Lumpkin. We're still rocking with him. He's still our guy for now. just for now. So 2nd and 11 now we're going to cut to for Indiana now as they're inside our 40 Coleman fakes the pitch and dumps it off quickly here, and I think that tackle was awfully generous. He's going to get dragged across the first down marker. I didn't think the initial contact was well before, but he got dragged across it. So that's, I don't know, unfortunate for us. So 1st and 10 now for the Hoosiers. They're going to hand it off to the running back, but he's going to fumble the football, and it's another fumble from Indiana, and we're going to land on top of it. As Brandon Hansen, who's one of the returning faces from when we last played Indiana, he fumbles the football here. Now we have a new chance on offense on our own end on a 1st and 10. Lumpkin, deep shot downfield. That ball is tipped and somehow caught by Chip Milligan, and now Milligan off to the races in the end zone for an Alabama touchdown. And finally, better late than never, under 2 minutes left in the first half, we finally strike the scoreboard and answer back to Indiana off of a very, very insane and wacky play here, as Lumpkin just takes a prayer of a ball. It was a good pass, but there was just plenty of defensive coverage in the area, so not really good selection here. And we're kind of just lucky that Milligan was, 1, there to catch it, and 2, that it wasn't intercepted, which it very easily could have been. So we will take the points any way that we can get them, because right now they are hard to come by here in this Capital One Bowl. So in the third quarter now, starting things off on our own end, a bit of a screenplay here. And now we have a fumble of our own, and Indiana looks like they're going to get on top of it, and they do. So we go for a little receiver screen, I think. Or no, that's Bowen, so I guess it's just a regular screenplay. But either way, Marquise Bowen's going to fumble the football. So now both running backs in this game have found a way to turn the ball over themselves, and now that's going to give Indiana a huge, huge opportunity in our own end. And I mean, this game seems to be the turnover game. It seems to be the turnover game. I was hoping the SEC championship wouldn't come down to the turnovers as being the decisive factor, but us not being able to capitalize on them ended up being the problem. And in this game now, it looks like turnovers are going to keep both teams involved probably a little bit longer than maybe they should, as another first down ends up going for Indiana, as they're going to pick it up. And they will continue to move the ball here, but now they're going to fast forward to 3rd and goal, and finally Coleman's going to hand it off to Hansen, who's going to run into the end zone and get another touchdown for Indiana. So the Hoosiers finally managed to break the seal that's been, I don't know, long-standing here. I mean, feels long-standing. It's been hard for any offense to really scrape by. And now late in the third quarter here on a 3rd down for us, and Lumpkin, deep shot downfield, and he just airmails that one into the end zone. So now a bit of a decision to make here. We could probably expect Signaby to keep the boys on the field here on 4th down, since we are just really struggling on offense. But no, no, we are not. We're going to punt it away. And Indiana now on 3rd and inches, they're going to float this one up. And that ball's tipped and caught for the Hoosiers. And I don't know what's going on with all these wacky tips. But I believe it was Solomon who got a hand on the football. It ended up just, I don't know, a lot of wackiness is going on in this game right now. It's a very odd game. But on 3rd and 6, now it's going to be a handoff, and I don't believe that's Hansen. It might be the fullback, actually. It might be Ernie Perez, the fullback. Or no, it is Hansen. Yeah, it is Hansen. I wasn't sure. It looked a little bit bigger than I remember Hansen being. But no, it is Hansen. And he gets the first down. And now the third quarter comes to a close. Indiana's go-ahead touchdown still the only deciding points right now, leading us by 7. And now Indiana looking to strike here. They're within striking distance. But on 3rd and 6, that ball's going to be intercepted. And now heading the other way here, getting taken out of the end zone. We get a huge, 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 very important interception at a crucial time from Khaled Brock, the freshman, and he gets us a huge defensive stop. And unfortunately, we can't do anything with it, so Indiana back on offense once again. But Coleman is now starting to unravel as he throws another interception. And there you see down at the bottom line, the first down breakdown. Indiana's been completely in control of this game offensively, but these mistakes are going to keep us in the game as long as we can afford to stay in it. But we got to get something going from Khaled Lumpkin and the offense. So on 3rd and 1 here, Lumpkin back to pass. Indiana sends the entire kitchen sink, and unfortunately that throw to the fullback, I guess. A backup fullback? Yeah, it's not Sharp. It's the backup fullback. Not going to go anywhere. So Signaby keeping the offense on the field because it is do or die time. 4th and 1. Lumpkin back to pass here. Finds an open target. Throws for it, and that pass is tipped and broken up, and it's going to be a turnover on downs. And I don't know what's going on with these Elephants, but there's just nothing that can be done on offense. But our defense gets us the ball back here And finally, there's a little bit of an opening as Ben Medley gets the catch along the sideline, and he'll get brought down at about the 25-yard line of Indiana. So now we at least have a little bit of a breath of fresh air here heading the other way as our defense is really locking in, guys. Our defense is playing Big Ten football better than Indiana is right now. It's just our offense cannot seem to find any level of momentum as we enter down the final few minutes of the fourth quarter. Lumpkin with the play action here. Wide open down the middle of the field, and it's Jeff Dillard, the tight end, and he's going to get the catch here, and that's going to tie us up here at 14 apiece, pending the extra point. And finally, this Alabama offense breaks through after, several quarters of mediocrity. We finally tie the game up here at 14 apiece, and now 1st and 10 for the Hoosiers after the ensuing kickoff, and another interception of Coleman here, another athletic interception, and our DBs have just completely been feasting on this Hoosier passing game here as Doug Berry, the junior, gets himself another interception this season, and now we are heading the other way with a prime opportunity. We now finally have the keys to the car in this game, because Indiana, like I've said, has controlled this game entirely, but now we have an opportunity in Hoosier territory. If we can at least get another first down or so, we could probably rely on Owens to maybe kick a go-ahead field goal, but of course we have to watch the clock too, because there's still plenty of time for Indiana to do what they do. We fall short on 3rd down, so on 4th and inches, Sick Neighbor is going to take the points, send out Owens, and we're going to try and burn as much clock as possible. But Owens' long kick is up, and it is good. And we are going to take the lead for the first time in this game here as we take a 17-14 lead over the Hoosiers. And there's still plenty of time for Indiana to do anything else. So now under 2 minutes, and they're right at about midfield. 2nd and 4, Coleman pocket collapsing, finds an open target, and that's going to be a first down for Indiana. And you probably would expect them to start running with a little bit of tempo. Maybe, perhaps. You might expect to see that following that reception to Ryan Meeks. But no, Indiana's going to let the time tick. So 1st and 10 here, just outside the 30. And Coleman gets sacked here as pressure gets inside. He was trying to find a place to go. And there you can see we've been applying a lot of pressure here. Our big defensive tackle, our two-handed punch, I guess. Our right-left, you know what I mean? Our 1-2 punch. That's what I was looking for. Our 1-2 punch of Herman Sapp and John Costa has been completely just impossible for a lot of quarterbacks and a lot of offensive lines. And right now, Coleman is feeling the full brunt of that in this game. So on 3rd and 21, that ball is tipped around, could have been intercepted, but fortunately, it falls safely to the ground. And that time, Solomon's tip does not turn disastrous for the Crimson Tide defense. On 4th and 21, got to keep the offense on the field because you're out of field goal range because of the 2 sacks. So Coleman here lays one out, and he finds an open target. And it looks like that one went all the way to Andrew Geronimo. Looks like he found Jeroman, but it was short of the line to gain, so that's going to be a turnover on downs. We would take over and run the clock out, and we are going to win another Capital One Bowl trophy. I think that's our second or third? Second, I think. I think the one against Michigan that we got a few years ago was our first, because we lost the first against Michigan in year 1, and, just follow the history. You got it. The whole series is there. The whole 111, 10-part series is just sitting on the channel. Just go back and rewatch it. I promise it's worthwhile, maybe. But this is a very unsettling game here. So a lot went wrong. We couldn't run the football whatsoever. Cal Lumpkin had a pretty terrible game. We were awful on 3rd down, could not move the offense whatsoever. In the end, Indiana's turnovers ended up being the complete death knell for them, but still only managed to win by 3 points. You get 5 turnovers versus the 2 that you had, so you win the turnover battle by 3 and still only managed to win by 3 points. That's a point a turnover. That's ridiculous. So there's huge fundamental flaws with this team. I don't know if we were just trying to get out of here, if this, just the team's heart was not in it following the SEC loss. I have no idea, but it's very unsettling heading into the next season because, as I said, we're running out of wiggle room to catch up to Nick Saban, so we have to pretty much just be, bam, 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 the next few seasons if we want to cross that line of the 6 titles or whatever. But it's not happening this year. We do at least win our bowl game. As long as we're adding stuff to the trophy case, we can't get fired, right? We can't get fired? Is that the rules? Is that how it works? But yeah, so not only are we not getting fired here, we are getting offered from West Virginia once again. It's like the second or third time that West Virginia has tried to poach Sick Neighbor from Alabama. But even though West Virginia is having great seasons, they just are having the same problem we have where they can't seem to get over the hump. They keep losing 1 or 2 random games every single season. It keeps derailing their season. So they're looking for us to help them out, but we're not going to. We're staying here in Tuscaloosa for a few more seasons, guys. So stick with us here as we're getting into year 15, I think, now. We only have a few more, so hope to see you guys in the offseason.